Good morning. How are you guys? This is Keelan. It is 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern on January 20th, 2021. I keep wanting to write 19 for some reason. I don't know why I'm like just skipping over 20. But anyways, welcome to Mystical Mornings. I'm your host, Keelan Clark, and I am an empowerment coach and entertainer. And I created this show in order to talk about the mystical pieces of our lives that are starting to really become more adamant, more mainstream, the woo-woo, if you will. And it's a piece of me that has always been there. It's always fascinated me. I've always loved to go to psychics and talk about energy and quantum physics and all of that stuff. And, in the last, specifically, I'd say 5 years, but really when the turn of the century happened, more doors started opening. And right now they're opening all over the place. So I'm here just to open up a platform to discuss these things, to really encourage you, the viewer, if you're watching this, thank you, to really start exploring some of these sides of you, because right now in the world, there's plenty of information out there. There's so much going on. There's a lot of righteousness. I'm right about this, blah, blah, blah. And I encourage you, viewer, to start looking inward and start trusting whatever is happening inward, whether it's a voice or a feeling or a smell or a taste. There are senses that we have really kind of forgotten about. So one of my senses is that I channel my spirits. I have a whole team of almost, I want to say extraterrestrial because they're not of like human form, but I have a whole team that works with me. And they're guides, they are angels. Jesus is in there once in a while. He pops in. My mom passed away in 2018. So there's a lot of space that we get to play with. I'm a big fan of play as well. So my intention for these mornings is just to open up that space to tell you guys some of my experiences and to kind of normalize it, right? Like there's a fascination about it, but there's also this still kind of this like, oh, this is woo woo, right? And when we're in the zone and in the field of this play space, let's say, there is like a woo-woo kind of feeling that happens. It's like woo, woo, woo. I do it when I do, I feel that when I do transcendental meditation. So there's all kinds of really fun stuff that we can explore together. And I realized earlier this week, well, my spirits actually told me, it's time to stop hiding. It's time to start talking about it. It's time to open up a platform, because I actually believe that every single person, every human being has these gifts. We all have different levels of different things, but we all have it. Every single one of us. Our brain is so incredible. And so is our heart. And so is our gut. All of those pieces, even my left elbow, it's got a lot of wisdom in it. So, starting our day off powerfully in a mode of possibility is really my intention here. It's also really about just stepping out courageously and speaking my truth so that you can speak your truth. And yesterday I had a vision. I I was supporting one of my leadership containers that I do, my transformational leadership, which in there we talk a lot about being source and a lot about energy and how we're all connected. And during this, there was a close-eyed experience that happened, and it was 2 minutes long. And what happened in it is that I realized how I've been playing small in my life. And by this, I realized that by me not talking about my gifts, I am holding others back from being able to talk about your gifts. Kind of crazy. And in the vision I had, it was in the future. It was crystal clear, and there were like new cities and civilizations, but these cities were all covered in green, and the buildings were like a beautiful white. So it was all clean sci-fi, and there were flying cars everywhere. And it was just a really clean environment. And my realization was that there's people out there right now on this planet, this exact second, who has the answers and the keys to create that world, to create those possibilities. They just don't know it yet. They haven't tapped into it yet. And myself as a leader, and I work with a lot of beautiful transformational leaders, we really believe in evoking and waking others up so that we can have a peaceful world. I believe in world peace. I really do. I believe that it's possible. I believe that humans are wired for love. And when we can step into our own authentic self and be creative and courageous, we will then liberate ourselves and create the world that we all really are yearning for. The world that maybe we all think it's just dreams, but it's not. Because if you watch any sci-fi movie, that writer or that screenwriter or that set designer, they came up with that. And it's all it is us filling in the gaps, filling in the technology, the engineering, all of those things. And maybe that engineer is a little boy right now who is dyslexic or has autism and maybe has been diagnosed and has this filter put on them, but in reality, like, he has the keys to create that world. So there's a lot of possibility out there, and really it starts with us having discussions, really leaning into the weird, leaning into the pieces that are like, this is, I don't know why I'm doing this right now, or I don't know why I'm saying this, but there's always a reason for it, always. So my stand for you guys is to be here every weekday morning and just to start speaking about this, and really just showing up for you guys and knowing that it's a safe space. There are no witch hunts, knock on wood. There definitely were, and those came from really authoritarian environments. So when we start seeing a lot of censorship and we start seeing a lot of righteousness, that's when, more than ever, we get to look inward and what's truthful to me, what's right. The people that stormed the Capitol building, I completely disagree with what happened. And if it had been a bunch of people of color who had stormed the Capitol building, it would have been a massacre. That's my belief. That's like the possibility that I see would have happened. Hey, Gabriella, I'm so glad you're here. Another magical creature. um, but the people that stormed the Capitol building really do believe that they are doing good, not only for themselves, but for all. They really, really believe that. So we as people who kind of are tapping into our gifts, we also get to use our powers for good and have an open ear as to, okay, why are you feeling like this? Where in your life do you think that you need someone like President Trump to save you? Where in your life are you feeling so insecure that you feel like you get to dismantle, a system that isn't perfect but has created peace for so long. So there's just a lot of possibility here to play with, to play with empathy, to play with energy and love, right? Um, and it's up to us to talk about it and to not fight it, but really become curious about these pieces, because it's happening all over the world. It is. It's happening all over the world. There's so much fear. And I truly believe that when we tap into our hearts, when we start speaking our truths, and we actually start taking action of those truths, then we will see shifts 1 degree at a time, little by little. You first take that courageous step, and then you commit to that step. And then you can go confidently and competently to the next step. But first you have to know, well, you don't have to know anything, but you get to lean into the weird and uncomfortable, but the thing that feels right. Like, this is really hard for me to do. Talk about the mystical side of me, though I know it's really important, not only because I channeled my spirits telling me I get to do this, but I also have been feeling it for a little while. Since I came up with Lady Liberty of the 21st Century, who is a nonviolent superhero and just happens to be part of me, the Statue of Liberty is all about enlightening the world. And I stand so firmly in that. With enlightenment and education and knowledge and empathy of each other, we can actually understand what the other side is going through and what's talking about. I will never know what it's like to be a African American or Black person in America. I won't. However, I can be quiet and listen. I can sit back and listen to whatever someone's going through. I will not know that experience firsthand, but I can say, what do you need from me right now? How can I support you? So with all of that said, I went off on a little tangent here. We get to create our lives. We are not a victim to our circumstances. We are not a victim to our life. Every moment that you have in your life, you are creating. Quantum physics has actually proven this over and over again. There's tons of literature out there. And the people who are watching this right now, I think you guys already know this, but it's a really great reminder. It's also a great reminder that this also works in our dreams. So if you have any questions about, the creating of every single moment in your life, please hit me up, comment below, and we can, I'll dive into it later this week. But without vision, without a clear path of where you're going, life just starts to happen to you, and it'll start to tumble out of control. And you wake up 50 one day and say, what the fuck have I done with my life? Right? So, excuse the F-bomb, but that's pretty much what happens. So having a clear vision is a great first step, and having the courage to really look at what you want the world to look like is the first step. And I had my vision yesterday. I was like, that's what it gets to look like. It gets to look like a sustainable, earth-loving, car-flying world. So I invite you to be really conscious today, specifically, of the moments that you are creating. And where is it are you being a victim to something? We all have it because we're human and our ego wants to protect us. So where is it in your day do you say, wait, I did have control over that? Just be conscious of it. And then tomorrow I'm going to talk about ghosts and dreams. Dreams, we also have the ability to go in with an intention and get some work done. I do a lot of light work in my dreams, a lot, like to the point where I'm almost like, all right, guys, like I need to get some actual sleep. My dreams are very vivid. I hear music. Last night I heard Man in the Mirror and I was dancing down an LA street, tap dancing. I'm like, okay, what's the point of this? But we can actually create our dreams just the way we can create our actual 3D life, our waking life. And one of the things that I love about my dreams is that I can go see my mom. I can actually go find her. She's usually in Ireland. So there's a lot of play space we have here. So if you're waking up this morning and you're like, I don't want to hear this, blah, 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 like just know that it just takes a shift. It just takes one courageous moment to tweak it a little bit, and then a step into a responsibility of, I'm creating all this. And once you have that down, then the entire plane is open for whatever you want. And the more that we become conscious of the next step that we take, the more we can actually see change and the change we want in the world. So I invite you again to play a little bit today with your day. Where is it that you're creating? You're creating, and then where is in the day that you're just letting life happen to you? And how do you want to switch that? So I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining. I'll be back again tomorrow at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. And if you have any other questions or comments, please feel free to comment below. Happy day to you all, and dream good dreams out there.